Right, we've got another UEFA video for you today. I know these types of videos seem to go down quite well with a lot of you, certainly judging from some of the DMs and tweets I get on Twitter and things on Facebook and the comments below these videos. So good stuff. We do appreciate all of that kind of stuff. We've got another one for you today because things have become a little bit clearer since we last spoke. Now, I know that all of you wonderful fans of 67 Hail Hail are very intelligent people. You understand the complexities of UEFA qualification. You understand buzzwords like coefficients and seedings and other words like that. But for this video, I'm going to try and dumb things down so that you could watch this after having a few drinks. You could be in a night out and leave your pals for 5 or 10 minutes and you could come back with this new wealth of knowledge about Celtic's potential route to the Champions League group stage. That's the idea. So the hope is that you can understand this video after a few beers, gin and tonic, a bottle of tonic wine, a glass of wine, a few vodkas. So if you are steaming, please do be safe, but also let me know in the comments below whether this video makes any sort of sense. That is the big test here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to 67 Hail Hail either. Right, round 2 of Champions League qualification. This is the league route. This is the round Celtic will enter. We will be seeded. We can face either Rapid Vienna, Galatasary or FC Micheland. If Villarreal win the Europa League, this is the way it will stay. If Manchester United win the Europa League, then Galatasaray will no longer be potential opponents. It will just be either Rapid Vienna or FC Micheland. So we're guaranteed to be seeded for this round. We're also guaranteed to be seeded for the next round. And remember, if we win this first round, then we will be guaranteed Europa League group stage football at the bare minimum. Going forward to the next round, should we make it, joining the party in order of coefficient are Shakhtar Donetsk, Benfica, Monaco, Genk and Spartak Moscow. Monaco will not be part of this round if Manchester United win the Europa League, so there's another key reason to vote for all these boys. There's 11 teams in total that are set to be part of this whole qualification process in the non-champions route. Out of these 11 teams, Celtic are actually the 4th highest ranked in terms of coefficient. Only Shakhtar Donetsk, Benfica and Monaco are ahead of us. Now, of course, if Monaco are no longer part of this qualification process, we'll be bumped up to 3rd, meaning that defeat for either Shakhtar Donetsk or Benfica in the 3rd qualifying round would mean that we'd actually be seeded for all 3 rounds should we make it. Obviously, we're very likely to get scudded in one of the first 2 rounds if we even get that far. But, you know, it's nice to be optimistic, isn't it? From time to time, there's been enough negativity in the world over the last 12 months. Right, that's all the hard lifting done. So let's take a kind of brief look at the 3 teams we could potentially face in this first round that we will enter. Starting with our good old friends, Rapid Vienna. It's fair to say that Rapid Vienna and Celtic do have a bit of history. We've come to blows quite literally in the past. I'm going to briefly tell you the story. It's quite a long-winded story, so apologies any older viewers if I miss a lot of key details out here. Basically, from my understanding, it goes back to a Cup Winners' Cup tie from 1984 between Rapid Vienna and Celtic. Vienna won the first leg in Austria by 3-1. We brought them back to a raucous Celtic Park and turned the tie around. We won 3-0 on the night to win the tie 4-3. All good so far? Well, actually not, because Rapid Vienna caused a huge controversy when their goalkeeper Herbert Führer did what I can only describe as a dialed up Dida, and he faked a bottle, yeah, can you hear that, etc, hitting him, and UEFA, I think UEFA were around back then, were forced to play another tie. They played a 3rd tie to keep Rapid Vienna happy. It was played down in Manchester at Old Trafford, and wouldn't you just know, Rapid Vienna won that one 1-0. Now, that was a really, really hostile match. There was a big Celtic support. I think there was even a larger Celtic support down in Manchester than there had been up in Glasgow. Obviously a fair bit of falling out from that game in Glasgow. I believe the aforementioned Rapid keeper was attacked by a Celtic fan. I think the goal scorer for Rapid that night was also kicked in what I can only describe as a sensitive area by a Celtic fan. It all sounds fun and games, back when football was football, men were men, and all that kind of stuff that will get me cancelled nowadays. We have played them more recently, most notably 2009, the Tony Mowbray season, UEFA Europa League, pretty forgettable European campaign, pretty forgettable campaign all in that season. We drew 1-1 with them in Glasgow and then drew 3-3 in the Austrian capital. Remember that game? I think we were 3-0 down and we fought back with a team of youngsters. I remember Paul McGowan playing that night. He may even have scored. It was quite forgettable, even though I have just remembered it 12 years later. But we have also played them in a couple of pre-season games since then, 2014 and 2017. We also share volleyball and goalie in common as well, so there is that. Rapid finished second in the Austrian Bundesliga this season, well adrift of eventual winners Red Bull Salzburg. They have basically been a Europa League team over the last 15 years or so. They've had a number of decent enough seasons in the Europa League, but they've never really made inroads into the Champions League group stage. Their squad doesn't really have any real notable names. It's mainly Austrian. Doesn't mean to say they're not a good side. I mean, I wouldn't really say Celtic have any notable names. I don't really think in the Rapid equivalent to 67 Hail Hail there'll be an Austrian Hamish sitting in front of his camera talking about Callum McGregor as being a big name. Doesn't mean to say they're not good players. I think they're probably the toughest team we could face. They certainly are in terms of UEFA coefficient, but not something we should really be fearful of, I don't think. Galatasary, definitely the biggest name out of the three teams we could face. Just yet another reminder that if Man United win the Europa League, they won't be potential opponents for us. They just missed out on the Turkish Super League title, losing out on head-to-head to Besiktas despite winning their final 6 games of the season. Unlike Rapid, they actually have been a pretty consistent force in the Champions League over the last few years. I say force, they usually get scudded about. I think the last time they were in the group stage, they get battered off Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, but we know what it feels like. At least they were there. Hell of a fall from grace for them last season in Europe. They were knocked out by Rangers. As you probably know, Turkish football is basically a throwback to about 2008. Galatasaray are no different from this. Listen to some of the names that are currently in their first team squad. Ryan Babel, Fernando Muslera, Sofian Feguli, and of course, Falcao. They're also led by the legendary Turkish manager Fatih Terim. Finally, FC Micheland, a bit of a recent success story in Denmark. No league success for them this season. They just missed out on the Danish Superliga title by a point to Brøndby, despite winning their final game of the season by 4-0. They were in the Champions League this season for the first time ever, and they even held Liverpool to a draw at home. They've won the Danish Superliga title 3 times, all in recent years. The notable thing to mention right now is that they are the club that we both signed and sold Eric Sviatchenko to and from. So he's still there at the moment. Potential opportunity for a big reunion. They've also got Anders Dreyer, who's a former St Mirren player, and a player called Sisto, who played a lot for Celta Vigo and is a Denmark international. So not a bad side. We don't have a great record against Danish teams over the years, but probably the one you would want. Certainly we would have a fair chance of beating Micheland. I would suggest it would maybe be 60-40 in our favour, depending what happens with the new manager and recruits between now and that game being played.